Real growth doesn't happen when life is easy. It happens when you challenge yourself. Comfort feels good, but it keeps you in the same place. The comfort zone is like a soft pillow. It gives you rest, but never lets you rise. When everything around you feels predictable, when your days look the same, and when you never feel nervous or uncertain, that's a clear sign you're not growing. Growth requires tension, struggle, and the willingness to step into the unknown. Think about it. Every major turning point in your life probably began with discomfort. The first time you spoke in front of people, your hands shook. The first time you tried something new, you doubted yourself. But once you went through that moment, you came out stronger, wiser, and more confident. That is what growth feels like. Uncomfortable at first, empowering later. The truth is, no one becomes their best self by staying comfortable. You grow when you decide to do what scares you, when you embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. Life's greatest rewards are hidden behind the things that make you uneasy. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's a signal that you're stretching your limits. Each time you face something hard, you're teaching yourself to adapt, to endure, and to rise. Comfort is easy, but it doesn't teach you anything. Struggle, on the other hand, is the classroom where strength is born. When you take on challenges, learning a new language, improving your body, starting a business, or breaking a bad habit, you're not just changing what you do, you're changing who you are. Growth is like exercise. If you lift only the weight you can easily handle, your muscles will never grow. You have to add resistance, go beyond your comfort level and feel the burn, because that pain is progress in disguise. The same applies to life. When you face tough situations, it might feel painful in the moment, but that pressure is shaping you into someone more capable. Every new challenge you accept rewires your brain, strengthens your mindset, and builds your resilience. People often wait for the right time to take risks, to start something new, to speak up, to move forward, but there is no perfect moment. The right time is always now, especially when it's uncomfortable, because comfort is a trap that tells you, stay here, it's safe. Yet what it really means is, stay here and nothing will change. The more you choose comfort, the smaller your world becomes. The more you choose challenge, the more your world expands. Every successful person you admire, whether an athlete, an entrepreneur, or a leader, has faced moments of deep discomfort. They were once beginners, too. They failed, they stumbled, they felt afraid, but they kept going because they knew that each challenge was building their foundation. Growth doesn't come from reading about courage or thinking about change. It comes from action. You have to step forward even when you're not ready. You have to trust that you'll figure things out as you go. When you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find creativity, strength, and determination that were sleeping inside you all along. You start realizing that the limits you believed in were never real. They were built by fear. And once you break through one limit, it becomes easier to break through the next. The process of growth is not instant, it's gradual. But every small act of courage compounds into something extraordinary over time. So when life feels too comfortable, it's time to shake things up. Set a new challenge. Learn something that intimidates you. Put yourself in situations that make your heart race. Because comfort might feel safe, but it's not where your potential lives. The comfort zone is where dreams die quietly, while the courage zone is where they come alive. Each time you take a step into discomfort, even a small one, you're telling yourself, I'm ready to evolve. And that single decision, most people avoid discomfort because of fear. Fear of failure, rejection, or judgment. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions that shapes our lives, often without us even realizing it. It whispers in our ears every time we're about to do something new, something bold, something that could change everything. It says, what if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? And because of those whispers, countless dreams die before they even begin. But here's the truth. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're standing on the edge of growth. Fear shows up not because you're weak, but because you're stepping into something bigger than you've ever done before. It's your body and mind reacting to uncertainty, the unknown. The people who achieve greatness don't live without fear, they learn to act despite it. They feel the fear and move forward anyway. Fear of failure is the most common. We've been conditioned to see failure as something shameful, as proof that we're not capable. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey toward it. Every failure teaches you what doesn't work, bringing you one step closer to what does. Think about inventors, athletes, or artists. Their achievements are built on layers of failure. Each time they fell, they learned, adapted, and tried again. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of fear. It's the courage to keep going, even when fear screams the loudest. Then there's the fear of rejection. Humans crave acceptance. It's in our nature. We want to belong, to be liked, to be validated, but chasing approval can trap you in a life that isn't truly yours. When you let the fear of what others think control your choices, you hand over the steering wheel of your life to someone else. The truth is, people will always have opinions. Some will support you, others will doubt you, but none of them live your life or bear your consequences. Real freedom begins the moment you stop trying to please everyone and start doing what feels right for you. And let's not forget the fear of judgment, the fear of standing out, of being seen trying and failing in front of others. That fear keeps so many people silent when they have something valuable to say. It stops them from sharing their art, their ideas, or their vision. But remember, those who judge are often too afraid to try themselves. The loudest critics are usually the ones watching from the sidelines, never brave enough to step onto the field. You can't let their opinions define your worth or your direction. Fear will always be there. It doesn't go away as you grow, it just changes shape. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, but to master your response to it. When you face your fears, they begin to lose their power. What once felt impossible starts to feel manageable. You start realizing that fear was never as big as it seemed. It was your imagination, amplifying the worst outcomes. Each time you push through fear, your comfort zone expands, your confidence strengthens, and your belief in yourself grows. Think of it like this. Fear is a test of commitment. It asks, do you really want this? And if your answer is yes, you must prove it with action. Confidence doesn't come first, courage does. You build confidence only after you take that leap, only after you see that you survived what scared you. Every time you do something that frightens you, making that call, speaking up, starting something new, you're training your mind to see fear differently. You're teaching yourself that fear isn't a barrier, it's a bridge. The irony is, the things we fear most often turn out to be the things we need most. On the other side of fear is freedom. Freedom from doubt, from limitation, from regret. When you refuse to let fear dictate your path, you begin to experience life on your own terms. The more you face your fears, the more fearless you become. Not because fear disappears, but because you stop letting it control you. And each time you confront it, even in small ways, you build a stronger version of yourself. One who leads, dares, and inspires others to do the same. When you settle for comfort, you slowly stop evolving. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual, quiet process. You tell yourself, I'm fine where I am, and little by little your fire begins to fade. The goals that once excited you no longer feel urgent. The passion that once drove you starts to dim. This is how complacency takes root, not through failure, but through comfort. And the danger of comfort is that it convinces you that good enough is acceptable, even when your heart knows you're meant for more. Complacency is like a slow poison. It numbs your ambition and blinds you to your potential. When you get too comfortable, you stop pushing boundaries. You stop learning, stop experimenting, stop challenging yourself. The very things that once made you grow, curiosity, effort, persistence, begin to fade away. You trade growth for convenience, dreams for routine. Life becomes predictable, and while that may feel safe, it's also where dreams go to die. Because the truth is, nothing grows in a comfort zone, not skills, not confidence, not success. The world around you is constantly changing. New ideas, new technologies, new opportunities, everything evolves. And if you're not evolving with it, you fall behind, not just in your career or ambitions, but in your mindset. Growth requires movement. The moment you stop moving forward, you start moving backward. Every successful person knows this truth: the hunger to improve must never die. Comfort is temporary satisfaction. Growth is lifelong fulfillment. You can't expect extraordinary results while living an ordinary routine. True success demands discomfort, the kind that stretches you, that makes you question yourself, that forces you to adapt. Think about any great achievement in history. None of it was born from comfort. Every innovator, artist, athlete, or leader had to step into unfamiliar territory. They had to risk failure, criticism, and exhaustion. They had to be willing to outgrow who they were to become who they were meant to be. When you choose growth, you choose challenge. You accept that there will be days of uncertainty, frustration, and doubt. But you also understand that each of those moments is shaping you into a stronger version of yourself. Change doesn't feel good in the beginning. It feels uncomfortable and even painful at times, but it's the only way to evolve. You cannot reach your full potential by staying who you are. You have to shed your old habits, old fears, and old limitations to make space for new abilities, new strengths, and new perspectives. The danger of good enough is that it tricks you into believing you've done all you can. You settle for mediocrity because it feels easier than striving for greatness. But deep inside, you know you're capable of more. You can feel the restlessness, the quiet dissatisfaction that tells you something is missing. That's your potential calling out, reminding you that you were not born to settle. You were born to grow, to build, to create, to contribute. When you start challenging yourself again, learning a new skill, setting a higher goal, stepping into a leadership role, you reignite that fire. You rediscover your drive. Discomfort becomes your teacher, showing you what you're truly capable of. The more you push yourself, the more you evolve, and the more you realize that comfort was never fulfillment, it was limitation disguised as peace. Success is not about having everything easy, it's about continuously expanding your limits. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to get comfortable. They keep raising their standards, keep asking, what's next? They understand that life's purpose isn't to stay the same, but to grow, transform, and inspire others to do the same. When you embrace discomfort, you embrace transformation. You allow yourself to evolve into someone wiser, tougher, and more capable than before. Comfort might offer temporary relief, but growth offers lasting pride. Because every time you choose progress over ease, you're not just moving forward, you're becoming the person you were always meant to be. Every uncomfortable situation teaches you resilience, patience, and strength. Growth isn't born from the moments when everything goes smoothly, it's forged in the fires of struggle and uncertainty. The challenges you face, the failures, the disappointments, the setbacks, they're not there to break you, they're there to build you. Every time life tests you, it's giving you an opportunity to rise above who you were yesterday. Discomfort isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's life's way of molding you into someone capable of handling more, achieving more, and becoming more. Think about how physical strength is built. If you lift the same light weights every day, your muscles stop growing. They adapt to the routine and progress stops. But when you increase the resistance, when you push past what's easy, that's when your muscles tear, rebuild, and come back stronger. The same principle applies to your mind and spirit. When you face emotional stress, tough choices, or uncertain outcomes, you're building mental muscle. You're strengthening your resilience. You're learning how to stay calm under pressure and how to keep moving forward even when everything in you wants to quit. Resilience doesn't come naturally, it's earned through experience. Every time you go through something hard and survive, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. That's how confidence grows, not by avoiding challenges, but by enduring them. The people who seem unshakable today weren't born that way. They became that way because they've been tested repeatedly. They've failed, they've suffered, but instead of giving up, they learned, adapted, and grew. That's the essence of strength, not the absence of pain, but the mastery of it. Uncomfortable situations also teach patience, one of the most underrated forms of power. When things don't happen as fast as you want, when plans fall apart, or when progress feels invisible, patience becomes your greatest weapon. It's easy to be motivated when results come quickly. The real challenge is staying committed when they don't. Patience trains you to trust the process, to understand that growth takes time. It reminds you that even when it feels like nothing is changing, something inside you always is. You're building endurance, discipline, and emotional control, qualities that will serve you far beyond this moment. And then there's strength, not just physical, but emotional and mental strength. True strength isn't loud or flashy, it's quiet and steady. It's waking up after a hard day and deciding to try again. It's facing rejection and still believing in yourself. It's falling down 10 times and standing up 11. Strength grows each time you refuse to let difficulty define you. Every obstacle you overcome becomes a part of your foundation, making you more unbreakable than before. The beauty of discomfort is that it reveals who you truly are. When life is easy, anyone can seem confident, kind, or patient. But when life tests you, when everything goes wrong, that's when your character is exposed. Do you give up or do you adapt? Do you complain or do you learn? Do you hide or do you fight? These moments separate those who only dream from those who do. And once you learn to see discomfort as your teacher, everything changes. You stop running from it and start growing through it. Your mind, just like your body, thrives on challenge. Every time you push past fear, confusion, or pain, you rewire your brain. You prove to yourself that you can survive uncertainty, and that realization makes you unstoppable. The situations that once terrified you become manageable. The problems that once overwhelmed you start to look smaller. You become mentally tough, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So when you find yourself in a difficult season, when things feel uncomfortable or out of control, remember that this is your training ground. Life is building something inside you: resilience, patience, strength, and wisdom. You might not see it yet, but each struggle is shaping the person you're becoming. Just like the muscle that tears before it grows, your spirit is stretching, evolving, and preparing for something greater. Every uncomfortable moment is proof that you're progressing, that you're moving beyond your limits, and that you're on the path toward your highest potential. All great achievements, innovation, leadership, creativity, are born from stepping into the unknown. Every breakthrough in history began with someone daring to take a step beyond what was certain, beyond what was safe. The truth is, no one ever achieved greatness by staying in their comfort zone. The comfort zone might give you peace, but it will never give you purpose. The life you truly desire, the one filled with meaning, growth, and success, doesn't live where it's easy. It exists outside the walls of familiarity, waiting for you to be brave enough to reach for it. When you choose to step into the unknown, you're not just making a move. You're making a declaration. You're telling the world, I'm ready for more. That single decision is where transformation begins. It's not about having everything figured out. It's about being willing to walk a path you've never walked before. Because growth doesn't come from repetition. It comes from exploration. The more you challenge yourself to enter unfamiliar territory, the more you discover what you're truly capable of. Think about every innovator and leader throughout history. They all had one thing in common: courage. They dared to take risks when others chose comfort. They created when others doubted. They led when others followed. They weren't fearless. They were just willing to move forward with their fear. Thomas Edison didn't know if his light bulb experiment would work, but he kept trying. Steve Jobs didn't know if people would embrace his vision, but he believed in it enough to take the leap. Every invention, every movement, every piece of art that changed the world started with one person's decision to step into the unknown. The unknown is uncomfortable because it exposes you. It challenges your confidence, your patience, and your belief in yourself. It forces you to make mistakes, to fail, and to adapt. But within that process lies the very essence of growth. Each failure teaches you what doesn't work, each setback strengthens your resilience, and each risk sharpens your vision. You learn not just about the world, but about yourself, your values, your limits, and your hidden strengths. When you avoid discomfort, you avoid discovery. You miss out on new experiences, new connections, and new opportunities that could change everything. The truth is, success doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect moment. It comes to those who create it. The people who live the life they dream of are not necessarily the smartest or the luckiest. They're the ones who decided to take that uncomfortable first step. The life you desire, the one that excites your soul, doesn't come from safety, it comes from risk. It comes from saying yes when it would be easier to say no. It comes from trusting yourself, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Outside your comfort zone, there's uncertainty, yes, but there's also possibility. And possibility is where dreams take root. When you start daring to be uncomfortable, something shifts inside you. Your confidence grows not because everything goes right, but because you realize you can handle it when things go wrong. You start building trust in your ability to adapt, to recover, to thrive no matter what happens. That's real power. Not control, but courage. You begin to see discomfort not as a threat, but as a signal that you're moving in the right direction. The most fulfilling moments in life often begin with a single leap of faith. The first time you perform on stage, share your ideas, start your own business, or speak your truth, those moments feel terrifying at first, but they also ignite something inside you. You realize that fear and excitement often feel the same in the body. It's just your perspective that determines whether you move forward or hold back. Growth, success, and fulfillment all begin at that intersection, the point where fear meets action. That's where new chapters begin, where new opportunities reveal themselves, where life starts to feel alive again. Every time you step into the unknown, you open doors that didn't exist before. And as you keep walking through them, you start to understand that the unknown isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because outside your comfort zone is where you truly meet yourself. Not the version shaped by routine or safety, but the version that's bold, limitless, and capable of far more than you ever imagined. Each step into uncertainty is a step toward the life you're meant to live. One filled with purpose, growth, and the deep fulfillment that only comes when you dare to be uncomfortable. Growth is never born from comfort. It comes from the courage to face fear, to embrace discomfort, and to step into the unknown. Life's greatest transformations happen the moment you decide that staying the same is no longer an option. Comfort might feel safe, but it's a silent trap. It keeps you still while life moves forward. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you choose stagnation over progress. And while it might protect you from short-term pain, it also shields you from long-term growth, opportunity, and fulfillment. The truth is, growth isn't meant to be comfortable. It's meant to test you, to stretch you, and to reveal who you truly are. Every challenge you face, every uncomfortable situation you endure is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Just as a seed must break through the soil to reach the sunlight, you too must push through the resistance of discomfort to reach your potential. Without that struggle, you never evolve. You remain the same person with the same limits, living the same story. Fear will always try to hold you back. It will whisper that you're not ready, that you might fail, that others might judge you, but fear is not your enemy. It's your guide. It shows you exactly where you need to go next. The things that scare you most often hold the keys to your greatest growth. Every time you face fear, you shrink it. Every time you avoid it, it grows stronger. Courage doesn't mean you don't feel fear, it means you move forward in spite of it. Complacency, on the other hand, is the quiet killer of dreams. It convinces you that good enough is enough. It tells you to stop trying, to stop risking, to stop reaching for more. But deep down, you know you're capable of more. That restless feeling you sometimes get, that sense that something's missing, is your potential calling out to you. It's your inner voice reminding you that you were not created to live small. You were made to grow, to create, to lead, to make an impact. Every time you choose discomfort, whether it's learning a new skill, speaking up, facing rejection, or taking a risk, you're choosing evolution over stagnation. You're proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses, braver than your fears, and more capable than you once believed. Discomfort is not a sign that you're failing, it's proof that you're growing. The greatest athletes, innovators, and leaders in the world didn't get where they are by staying safe. They got there by constantly stepping outside what felt easy. Life will test you. It will throw challenges your way that make you question yourself. But those moments are not meant to stop you. They're meant to shape you. Every time you get through something hard, you come out with more resilience, more patience, and more inner power. The more you push beyond your limits, the more you expand your potential. Just as muscles grow when they're stretched and challenged, your character grows when you face struggle and overcome it. The life you dream of, the success you imagine, the confidence you crave, the freedom you desire, doesn't exist within your comfort zone. It's waiting for you outside it. You'll never find fulfillment doing only what feels safe, because true satisfaction comes from progress. When you take bold action toward your goals, even when you're scared, you begin to experience what real growth feels like. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about daring to keep moving forward, even when you don't have all the answers. Every step you take into discomfort builds momentum, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. One day you'll look back and realize that the things that once terrified you are now the things that empower you. That's how transformation happens, slowly, quietly, through small acts of courage repeated over time. Growth doesn't announce itself, it reveals itself through your progress, your strength, and your mindset. So don't fear discomfort. Seek it. Don't avoid the unknown. Explore it. Don't settle for good enough. Demand greatness from yourself. Every moment of unease is a stepping stone toward the person you're becoming. The pain you feel today will one day be the power you carry tomorrow. The fears you face today will become the foundation of your strength. Remember this: your comfort zone is not your friend, it's your cage. And the key to unlocking your potential is courage. The courage to take that first step even when you're scared. Growth, success, and fulfillment all begin the moment you dare to be uncomfortable. The world doesn't need more people who play it safe. It needs more people who are willing to grow, to lead, and to live fully. Your comfort zone might promise security, but your destiny lies beyond it. So step boldly into the unknown. Trust yourself.